Hey guys, welcome to Mr. Tiger Calculus. Today we're going to be talking about how to write the equation of a parabola in vertex form when given 3 points. Just to review, this is vertex form. F of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Now this is vertex form because our vertex is hk, and they're found right here in our equation. So if we have 3 points, we can write the equation of any parabola. And in fact, if we know the vertex of the parabola, we only need one other point. So let's see how this works. In this example, we're given a vertex of -3, 5, and then 2 other points. The first thing we want to do is plug in the vertex in our equation. Now the vertex, the x value is h, and the y value is k. So we'll just drop those right into our equation. Now, first thing you should notice, -3 has become +3. That x value always switches. If it's negative in the vertex, it's going to be positive in the equation and vice versa. Now this isn't just because we want to do that. The equation is x minus h. So when we plug a negative h value into our equation, we get x minus a negative, and that's positive. So make sure your brain is remembering to flip those signs, okay? Now, f of x equals a, x plus 3 squared plus 5. The only thing that we're missing from this equation now is a. So we need to find that, and then we plug in that a value, and we've got our equation. So to solve for a, we need 2 numbers right here, okay? We have to fill in these 2 variables, so we've only got 1 variable to solve for. So we need an x value and a y value. Luckily for us, we've got 2 coordinates, and every coordinate is made up of an x and a y value. So we can choose one of these and plug it into our equation, and it doesn't matter which one we choose. Either one will give us the right answer. I'm going to choose -113 for no other reason than it's listed first. It really doesn't matter. So I'm going to drop the x value in for x, and I'm going to put the y value in for f of x. So our equation becomes 13 equals a times -1 plus 3 squared plus 5. Now, all we do is solve this simple equation for a. So order of operations, say I start inside the parentheses. So -1 plus 3 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So this entire thing is simplified to 4a. We've got the plus 5 out there, and all of this equals 13. Now we've only got 2 steps left to solve for a. I subtract 5 from both sides. 13 minus 5 is 8, and I see that 8 equals 4a. Last step is to divide by 4, and then a will be by itself, and I see that a equals 2. And that's the only thing I'm missing from my equation, so the only thing left to do is plug it in. F of x equals 2. And then my h and my k I had already plugged into my equation. So there's our answer right there. This is the vertex form of the equation for the parabola that contains this vertex and those points. Okay? So, pretty simple steps. Plug in the vertex, substitute one of the coordinates, and solve for a. All right, let's look at a couple other examples just to make sure we've got this down. All right, in this next example, I'm not given the coordinates. I just need to look at the graph and find them. So this first coordinate over here is -1, -3. My vertex, the tip of my parabola, is over here at 1, -4. And way over here, at 3, -3, is my third point. So here's my vertex form. Remember, HK. First step is to plug that vertex into my formula. All right, my H value is positive. That means when it comes into the parentheses, it's going to look negative. And then my K value is -4. No need to change that sign. It stays the same. Now I need to choose one of these coordinates to drop in for x and f of x. I'm going to choose this one because it's the second coordinate, and last time I chose the first one. So let's keep it fair here. For f of x, I'm going to use that y value, -3. Don't know a yet. My x value, way over here, is the 3. And then I've already got those numbers. Now, I just have to solve this equation for a. Start inside the parentheses. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 squared. Again, this simplifies to 4a. I've got the -4. And all of this equals -3. Now solve for a using those two simple steps. Move my k value over. -3 plus 4 is +1. Be careful about those adding and subtracting of negatives. Equals 4a. And then my last step would be to divide by 4. A equals 1/4. Now I've got my h, my k value, just found my a value. Now all that's left is to plug it in for my final answer. F of x equals 1/4 x minus 1 squared minus 4. So, h and k, I see is from transformations, we'll just review these a little bit. -1 means a shift right 1. So our parent function of our quadratic starts at the origin. So my vertex should be shifted right 1, down 4. That's good. So we plug those in right, and we've been compressed by a factor of 1/4. So I see that my graph has gotten wider. So it looks like this is correct. If you want to check your work, which you should do, you can plug this formula, this equation, into y equals on your calculator. Then go to the table and see if these 3 points are in your table. They should be if you've done it right. If those points aren't in your table, then you've done something wrong. Most likely, you may have forgotten to switch the sign of your h value. Remember, we've got it positive down here, so inside the parentheses, it's negative. So make sure you switch that h value, or you're going to get some wrong answers. All right, we're going to look at one more example. In this example, we don't have a graph, and we're not told which one of these is our vertex. So we need to find out which one's our vertex to solve our problem. Now, first thing we should notice when we look at this is 2 of my y values are exactly the same. Now that tells me that these 2 coordinates are on either side of my vertex. And their x values are -2 and 4. Given what we know about parabolas, because those have the same y values, they should be the same distance apart from the vertex. Our axis of symmetry is going to pass right in the middle of these, and it's also going to pass through the vertex. So let's see what x value is between -2 and 4. Halfway between these two numbers is the number 1. So our axis of symmetry is right here at 1. So let's look for the x value of 1. Right here is our vertex. Now that we know this, let's plug it in. So our equation right now is f of x equals a x. Positive x value is going to look negative in our equation. And then my y value of my vertex is +1. And then we need to choose one of these to plug into our equation. I'm going to choose this first one right here on top. So f of x is replaced with my y value of -3. Don't know a. X is replaced with my x value of -2. And I've still got -1 squared plus 1. Now only my a is left, so I can solve. -2 minus 1 is -3. Be careful with those positives and negatives. -3 squared is 9. So all of that simplifies to 9a. Plus 1, and it all equals -3. All right, last two steps to solve for a. Subtract my k value over. -3 minus 1 is -4. Bring my 9a down, and then divide. So a equals -4 over 9. And then I can plug that into my equation. Now some students, when they get -4 over 9, they're going to ask, did I do that right? Sometimes we're used to getting whole numbers or pretty fractions like we did on 1/4 or we get 2/3. It's okay. If we did our math right, -4 over 9, that's not a problem to get. And again, if you're unsure about your work, plug it into y equals, and you should find all of these points if it's correct. And in this case, our a value is -4/9. And then x minus 1 squared plus 1. So there would be the equation of the parabola that contains these 3 points. Okay. 3 simple steps. Plug in the h and k value into your equation, being sure to switch the signs of your h value. Choose a coordinate, substitute them for f of x and x, solve for a. All right, thanks guys, and we'll see you next time.